Hey everyone, welcome back to RJK English. We're going to continue to go through this great article called The Colorful History of the English Language. Why are we going through this? We're going through this to look at Germanic words in English and Latinate words and also a little bit of Greek. Um, I'm going to use this as a springboard to also move on to look at French words that are in English, and then also Greek words that are in English. And I might circle back to Latin as well. The goal here is for you to get an idea of why we have so many synonyms, meaning, words that mean the same thing. And why is our spelling so strange? Well, as I introduced the history, make sure to look at the first video that gives the history of the English language. We have multiple spelling systems feeding into English. We have the Germanic spelling system of the Anglo-Saxons. That's the base of the English language. Then you have French from the Normans. Then you have Latin. Latin has its own spelling system. Then you have Greek as well. So all of these feed into why our rules are so strange when it comes to our vocabulary. Our grammar isn't that hard, because we don't have a lot of case systems, but the spelling is. So, okay, moving on to the character of Germanic and Latinate words. I'm going to disappear here because I'm going to blow this up. Okay, the character of Germanic and Latinate words. As a rule, Germanic words, the Anglo-Saxon words, are shorter and more concrete, meaning they're to the point. They're very direct. And if you go back and look at any of my videos that are on songs from the United States or the US tradition of songs, we're very direct. We're not very flowery. And if you are flowery, Americans don't like it. I don't know about the British. I think the British are pretty straightforward as well, though they do have a history of Shakespeare and things like that. So I could be wrong. Germanic words are more direct. The Latinate words are more abstract. So concrete, abstract. Concrete is things I'm doing right now and what I feel. I feel anger. Abstract things have to do with thinking and cognition, like dreaming. We'll look at it a little bit here. Let's look at some of these words. So, for instance, in Germanic, combining words, a hospital is a Sickehus, which is sick house. Um, Fernsehen in German is a calque, bringing together from English. English brought together tele from Greek, which means far, and visio from Latin, which means sight, television. German maybe took it from English, I'm not sure, and they chose Fernsehen, which has the same idea but in German. So German is more to the point. If I'm going to have a hospital, I'm not going to have a word for hospital. I'm just going to call it sick house. Latinate words are more abstract and kind of academic. So there was a time when we had people tried to make English more flowery. And he talks about how Orwell, one of the great writers of Britain, wrote in 1984, An Animal Farm. He did not like this. He wanted to be more direct. So he gives an example here of the difference between Latinate and German. So a sentence resplendent with Latinate or Greek lexis is perceived as pretentious, grandiloquent, and even scientific. That is mostly Latin words. Now, Germanic. But a string of Anglo-Saxon or Norse words seem more straightforward and down to earth. Okay, that is the Germanic side of English. Okay. Um, okay, and we looked at this last time. Here's the Germanic speaker. Germanic roots are generally shorter, a lot of times one syllable, and they're very concrete and easy to understand, whereas Latinate words are more refined. Latinate, French, and Latin, generally multisyllabic and abstract and scholarly in how they're talking. So let's look at some examples. Here, the writer says, here's informal and formal. Germanic tends to be informal. Latinate tends to be formal. And these are synonyms. Thinking, mindful. This is Germanic. Thinking, mindful. Pensive is the Germanic. Same thing. Kingly, Germanic. Royal, Latin. Ghost, Germanic. Phantom, Latin. Help versus aid or assist. Buy, Germanic. Purchase, Latinate. Okay, so the Greek is German, red is Latin. Mistake, error. Allow, permit. Answer, reply, respond, or response. Forgive, pardon. Wish, desire. So if you look through these, speed, velocity, a lot of these words in red are going to be words you're going to use in an academic setting. It's not that you'll never use the Germanic, but the Latinate tends to be for the academic setting. We do this without thinking, English speakers, especially when we've had higher education. We just get used to speaking. We get accustomed to speaking in the more the Latinate forms. Okay, concrete and physical versus sorry, my cat is going crazy, versus abstract and conceptual. Worth versus value. Brotherly versus fraternal. Freedom, liberty. Deep, profound. This one I think kind of sums it up. Oh, you're speaking very deep. You know, you're talking philosophically. Oh, that's very deep. Oh, that's profound. The profound is more abstract and conceptual, and again, that's the Latinate. Okay, next, dramatic, strong, and direct versus weak, euphemistic, and indirect. And again, this is feeling. So we're talking about how English speakers feel when they hear these. So here, the Anglo-Saxon words have more strength than the Latinate. The Latinate feels like you're being a little bit more set apart from what's happening. The Germanic is right in it. It's very direct and dramatic. So again, green is Germanic, red is Latinate. Weep, sob, cry. Seethe, seethe, boil. Slaughter, murder. Slaughterhouse, abattoir, French, I think. Yeah. Shut, slam, close. Smell, stench, reek, odor. So a little more strength on the Germanic side in that. Okay, common noun versus technical adjective. An Anglo-Saxon word as a common noun can seem to be completely unrelated to the Latinate or Greek adjective used in the technical field. So in the scientific fields such as biology, medicine, and geology, Latin and Greek is used a lot. Whereas in normal life, Anglo-Saxon words are used. So here's an example: earthquake, Germanic; seismic, Greek; color, Germanic; chromatic, Greek. Okay, so heart, cardiac. So if my wife is a nurse practitioner, if she's talking about someone's heart, she would say cardiac. went into cardiac arrest, cardiac myopathy or something. They use words like this. Eye, ocular, teeth, dental. So the concrete noun, heart, eye, teeth, but the adjective used, cardiac, ocular, dental. It comes from the Greek and Latin. Okay, poetic and old-fashioned versus prosaic and ordinary. Now here we switch to where the Germanic sounds a little more poetic, and we would say frou-frou, like, oh, he's talking so nice, versus the prosaic and ordinary. This could be, I think, because a lot of these words that you're going to see in Germanic, Anglo-Saxon right now, these are words that we've left behind. They were part of Shakespeare and things like this. So when we think of them, we think of something flowery. That could be why. Hue, we don't use that a lot, means color. That's the Germanic being more poetic. Blossom, flower. Folk, people. That's directly Germanic, folk. Volkswagen, Volkswagen. A wagon for people. Midriff, abdomen. Cleave, divide. Bane, curse. Dragon's bane, you might hear this if you know Lord of the Rings. Seethe, boil. Quicken, accelerate, might, power, shire, county. Okay, working class discomfort versus aristocratic luxury. This goes back to the Norman French ruled Britain. So the people that spoke the Anglo-Saxon more, they would be working class and peasantry, right? So think of what the working class and peasantry do versus the aristocrats. The working class and peasantry would be making the food, right? They'd be the farmers that actually do the butchery. The aristocrats don't do work, they just eat. So the things that would be done in royal households or by people that have slaves or servants, that's going to be different types of things that you're going to talk about than the people that actually do the work. So Anglo-Saxons were content to sleep in their bedrooms and sit on their backless stools, where the Norman aristocrat reposed in their chambers and lounged on their chairs. So that's more Latinate. Stool versus chair. Bedroom versus chamber, which actually comes from chambre. I think that's bedroom in French. Cup versus chalice. And here we get into thinking about the animals. So the actual animal has words in Anglo-Saxon. What's prepared from the animal has words in Latin and basically French, because the aristocrats would be eating that food, right? So cow, Germanic. Beef is what's prepared from the cow. Calf, veal. Swine, pork. Sheep, mutton. Hen or chicken, poultry. Deer, venison. Snail, escargot. Dove, pigeon. Okay, so now we get to something that's kind of funny that I did not think about until I read this. So hats off to the author. Our vulgar in English, it kind of means person that's kind of gross, like they're vulgar. Person that curses, talks about bodily functions or sexual things in public. We think of that as vulgar. Well, vulgar just means of the people. Like in Sanskrit is not vulgar. Hindi would be vulgar because it would be the language that people actually spoke that came off of Sanskrit. Even Prakrit, which was spoken by the Buddha or Pali, was a vulgar of Sanskrit. Sanskrit was the high language. Same with Latin. Latin is the Sanskrit of Europe. And the languages that came from Latin were the vulgar languages, French, Spanish, English in a way. Um, so vulgar just means things that are kind of earthy that regular people would say that you're not supposed to say in polite society. Well, our curse words come from Germanic, and I didn't know this, and so not suitable for work here. If you don't like curse words, please turn it off. Okay. So here we go. The F word. I'm sure you know it. Don't say it, but we use it a lot in English. That is German, and look at it. It's a four-letter word, and we often say four-letter words to mean curse words. What is the Latin and Greek? Intercourse. You'd say this as a doctor, you'd say this if you're talking polite, but the F word, this one, is one that is pretty direct. And it often doesn't mean the same thing. It's just a curse word. We often aren't thinking of it in that way. Shit. If you're in India, you say this and you probably don't even think it's a bad word. It is here, but the Latin excrement, feces, stool, that stool is Germanic. We use it in like medical people use this to mean feces or excrement. Arsehole or asshole. In the U.S., we say the second one. Anus or rectum. That's Latin. Piss or pee would be urine. Do not, I'm going to cover that one up. Do not say that last one at all. It's really, really bad. Not the piss one, the next one, and I'm not even showing it right now. So do not say that one, okay? But I'm just pointing out that these Germanic words are the ones that we use for our curse words, which comes from the Anglo-Saxon words were the ones that were used by the regular people. So here he goes on to talk about how we somehow combine words and things like that. But here we'll just look through these last ones here. Ghost, Germanic, phantom, help, assistance, buy, purchase. Here you see that these first ones are one syllable. The Latinate are multisyllable. Okay, so that tells us why English has so many words, and so many synonyms. I hope this was useful to you. In the next video or videos, we're going to go on to actually look at French words that are in English and Greek words that are in English. This mostly covered Latin plus some French. So I hope this is very useful to you. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the make sure to tell someone if you know someone else that is learning English, and go to RJK English on Facebook and we can have further conversations. See you next time.